Hello and welcome to the CDAO Magazine interview series. I'm Jake Dreier with HiLabs, and we are partnering with CDAO Magazine, MIT CDO IQ, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers in a series of interviews. Today, I have the pleasure with speaking to Himanshu Arora, the Chief Data and Analytics Officer of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts. Himanshu, welcome.
Thank you, Jake. Pleasure to be here.
Whenever in healthcare a new technology has been applied, healthcare leaders and data leaders like yourself have needed to make sure that you're staying grounded in the member experience.
Yep.
And yet there does seem to be something unique about the way that we approach that with AI, and I think you started to allude to that with the black box use of AI on the patient. You know, what does feel unique about the skeptical lens that technology healthcare leaders like yourself need to apply to the use of technology that is different from the skepticism that you've needed to apply to new technologies in the past?
Yeah, I think I should say, put it this way, where I am being more skeptical, right, is, like I mentioned, any aspects of AI which have the potential to create an adverse event for a member, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's in experience, affordability, quality, increasingly equity, that's where I'm not ready to say, yep, we have these solutions figured out and we are ready to scale them. We're still very much in a learn, experiment, relearn, reapply, build mode, right? And when I look back at, for example, other technical advancements in this space, right? And I'm talking about the areas of health in general. When you look back in the development of all the medical devices that took place through the mid-20th century, there was initially a good deal of skepticism around them as well. But then there was proof points and data that was brought forward. And that skepticism was therefore able to be overcome. We have to do similar things. We have to create proof points. When new, and this was another good topic of discussion that we were at last week as well, when good data points and proof points are produced for applying, for example, AI and ML to now approving or taking through the process at least, increasing number of therapies and drugs through an FDA approval process, there's much more scope to do that there, right? And when it is about increasing the speed and throughput and creating outcomes that are favorable for a member or an individual, that's much easier and much more explainable in my mind. It's the adverse event part of this, which I'm personally quite skeptical about, and those solutions or those thoughts, if you will, take an extra degree of scrutiny, and I think they will for a while.
So I think we're coming to the end of our time, and one question I would love to hear from you is, especially given it's the nascence of the technology, when you're just looking to the future, what are the use cases that you are most excited for? And feel free to suspend the necessary skepticism for immediacy and impact, and just thinking about the big picture in the future. When you suspend that disbelief and you focus on what excites you, what does excite you about the way that this technology could evolve in impacting healthcare?
Yeah, no, Jake, thank you for allowing me to suspend disbelief, if you will, for a moment. And I truly believe we're not that far away from it, but we're not quite there yet either. My hope, dream, and vision for healthcare is that we move from a place where an individual's choice, decision-making, impact, and follow-through is as onerous as it is today, to a place where healthcare becomes a constant on service, if you will, almost in many ways a personal utility that is always running for a member in the background, right? And the way we will achieve that is through a combination of real-time healthcare monitoring. So think about wearables, IoT, all of our gadgetry, if you will, that's increasingly becoming more and more advanced and sophisticated, not just at a generic level, but like blood glucose monitors and other monitors that become almost, if you will. The second important ingredient for this will be an individual's ability and comfort in owning their data, right? And this is one of my biggest pursuit areas is unlocking an individual's data from where it sits to making it accessible to the point where the individual actually owns it and is comfortable with how they want to use it, who they want to use it on their behalf. And the interoperability regulations we've all been hearing a lot about are absolutely a step in the right direction in this way. But that second combination is, or the second part of that is very important to this combination. And the third part of this is, and again, maybe I'm being greedy, but if we look back more often than not, right? And this is my criticism directed at myself and others in healthcare is that healthcare tends to be one of those industries where the application of more technology somehow and mostly inexplicably tends to make healthcare more expensive. In most other industries, part of the reason we apply technology is not just for the advancement part of it, but there's generally a cost component part of it. And again, health is arguably, as I said before, an individual's most precious asset. And maybe it can be argued that that's in some way the track that we've been on, but we need to bend that curve, right? Think about things like what mobile phone access have done for the world, not just for our country, where it has been phenomenal. So what is the mobile phone combined with the app, combined with the data, combined with the monitoring, combined with all the IoT that we talked about? And in all of this, data analytics is a service that's running in the background, unbeknownst to the member. They don't need to be bothered with it, right? They don't need to do something on any periodicity basis to engage with it, but it's a constant on. It's a friend, it's an advisor, it's a coach, it's a counselor who's there with you day in and day out, every step of the way. And then the broader healthcare system advances to the point where the advancements that are being made there, the acute care is always needed there, right? So we're not talking about not needing the traditional healthcare system, but being able to utilize and use it in a way where it is very much about right place, right point in time, right member for the right price.
Thank you for sharing that, Himanshu. And that's a great way to close this out. So for those of you listening, I've been speaking with Himanshu Arora, the Chief Data and Analytics Officer of Blue Cross Blue Shield, Massachusetts. Himanshu, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Jake. This is awesome.
Yeah. If you're interested in seeing additional interviews, please visit cdomagazine.tech. And thank you so much for joining us today.